Pep Guardiola is a very good football manager. He's never been away from the top, first with Barcelona, then Bayern Munich, and now Manchester City. Pep won everything there was to win on British shores last season, sealing a treble in his second Premier League title. The football his team plays is sensational, and that's down to the coaching. And the players Pep has signed, of course. So let's go through every player Pep Guardiola has signed for Manchester City and give them a rating out of 10. But for reference, we're not going to include youth signings. Number 1, Ilkay Gundogan. The German midfielder was Pep Guardiola's first signing at Manchester City, arriving from Borussia Dortmund for about £20 million. Injury disrupted his first season with City, but after recovering he showed why he's such a great player for Guardiola. He's like a metronome in the middle of the park, constantly keeping the ball moving while also chipping in with some key goals. He signed a new deal at the Etihad in August, and we're going to give him an 8 out of 10. Number 2, Aaron Moy. You forget that Aaron Moy was actually a Manchester City player. It's not like he was a kid when he moved to the Etihad from affiliate club Melbourne City in 2016 either. 6 days later he headed to Huddersfield on loan, and that was basically it. He thrived in Yorkshire, won promotion and got a permanent move there for about £8 million. City can buy him back when they want, but I don't see that happening. An odd signing which gets a 1 out of 10. Number 3, Nolito. The first attacking signing of the Guardiola era, Nolito was handed the number 9 shirt after his £13.8 million move from Celta Vigo. He started brightly at City, but it was all a bit of a false dawn. Nolito quickly fell out of favour, leaving after just a year in England with he and his family both unsettled. He played 30 times and scored 6 goals, and we're going to give him a 3 out of 10. Number 4, Geronimo Rudi. A signing in the same vein as Aaron Moy, Geronimo Rudi has also signed for City in his early 20s, but never played for the club. He immediately went on loan to Real Sociedad, and 6 months later he was made permanent. What an odd state of affairs. He's another player that City can buy back, and that's a bit more likely than Moy. But Geronimo Rudi's signing also gets a 1 out of 10, just like Moy did. Number 5, Aleksandr Zinchenko. This was a surprising signing, as no one had really heard of Zinchenko in 2016 when he arrived at City for less than £2 million. He was an attacking midfielder at the time, and now he's developed into a left back, and a pretty solid one at that. He could have left for Wolves for £16 million last summer, but he decided to stay and fight for his place, and what a decision it was. Zinchenko was a solid player for Pep, but far from one of his stars. His signing gets a 7 out of 10. Number 6, Leroy Sane. Our most expensive signing so far, the bushy-haired Leroy Sane arrived in Manchester in 2016, costing an initial £37 million from Schalke. His first season showed signs of promise with incredible dribbling and speed both with and without the ball, but it was the year after that he truly arrived. He scored 10 Premier League goals, then followed up with another 10 next season. He's an absolute nightmare for defenders, and he's got a new party trick with his expert free kicks as well. Sane was linked with the move away this summer, but he's going nowhere, especially now he's injured. But as it stands, Leroy Sane gets a 9 out of 10. Number 7, Gabriel Jesus. The Brazilian youngster was signed in August 2016 but didn't officially arrive until January 2017, and it's fair to say he was worth the wait. Despite playing second fiddle to Sergio Aguero most of the time, you forget just how many goals Gabriel Jesus scored in City colours despite his tender age. The 22-year-old is already closing in on 50 goals for the club, averaging just shy of a goal a game, which is sensational when a lot of the time he's been coming off the bench as a substitute. Now the number 9, Jesus is City's man for the future when Aguero leaves, and the future is clearly in safe hands. We're giving Gabriel Jesus an 8.5 out of 10. Number 8, John Stones. The curious case of John Stones. Is he really good? Has he got any better? Is he just Thomas Shelby in disguise? The young Englishman looked the typical Pep Guardiola defender when he arrived from Everton for £47.5 million in 2016, able to pass it out from the back and be bold in possession, no matter where he was on the pitch. We've certainly seen a few cock-ups from him, but he's certainly got better over the years and is a top defender. But he needs a strong partner alongside him, and it's telling that he didn't start much at the back end of last season when City went in search of silverware. We're going to give John Stones a 7.5 out of 10. Number 9, Claudio Bravo. You could see Pep's thinking when he signed Claudio Bravo. He wanted a keeper who's good with his feet, and that's exactly what Claudio Bravo is. However, he's not as good with his hands, as the City faithful quickly found out. The Chilean goalkeeper endured an error-filled first year in Manchester, and 12 months later he was already playing backup. He missed all of last season due to injury, and the 36-year-old is surely going to leave when his contract expires next summer. Overall, we're going to give him a 2 out of 10, even if the City players do love him because of his penalty heroics. Number 10, Bernardo Silva. For me, this guy is Pep Guardiola's finest signing as Manchester City boss. He cost £43 million for Monaco in 2017, and while he took a bit of time to settle in, he was a magician last season. His energy is sensational, as is his ability on the ball. It's like he's got glue on his boots or something, twisting and turning to get a yard on a defender before picking the perfect pass. He's versatile as well, which is why Pep Guardiola loves him so much. The Portuguese midfielder continues to get better and better, and we're giving him a 9.5 out of 10. Number 11, Ederson. If we were rating tattoos, it would be a 0 out of 10 for Ederson, as that smiley face on his neck is just horrendous. Fortunately, we're going to look at his goalkeeping, which is something he's really good at. City paid Benfica £35 million, seeking a solution at the Claudio Bravo shaped hole they dug a year earlier. And it was immediately clear they'd struck gold, even if Sadio Mane did try to kill him with a brogue kick to the face. Ederson is both a brilliant shot stopper and a footballer. It's exactly what Pep wanted, and he could probably play midfield if needs be. We're giving Ederson a 9.5 out of 10. Number 12, Kyle Walker. One of the most expensive Englishmen in history, Kyle Walker swapped Tottenham for Man City in 2017, costing £50 million, which seemed like a hell of a lot of money at the time. But Walker moved to win trophies, and that's exactly what he's done. The right back has been solid for City, with its overlapping runs causing nightmares for opposition defenders. We still see the odd lapse from Walker, which happened when he was a Spurs player as well, but the good outweighs the bad, and we're going to give Kyle Walker an 8.5 out of 10. Number 13, Danilo. City went full-back mad in the summer of 2017, and Danilo arrived as a player who can play on both the left and the right. The Brazilian was Pep's utility man, costing £26.5 million from Real Madrid, where he'd also struggled to nail down a place in the starting 11. Danilo was in and out of the City team during his 2 seasons in English football, but he went at his merry way this summer, joining Juventus for a large £34 million, seeing City make a big profit on the defender. He was far from amazing, and Danilo gets a 5.5 out of 10. Number 14, Benjamin Mendy. City's fullback frenzy ended with Benjamin Mendy's arrival, another signing from Monaco, with this one costing £52 million. Mendy had been instrumental down the left in France, and it was clear straight away he was going to be hit at City. He was an assist machine for Guardiola. That was until he was struck down by injury, of course, and sadly that's been the story of his career at the Etihad ever since. Man City have a great player, he's just never fit enough to play, meaning there's a gaping hole at left back. As for Mendy, his signing gets a 6.5 out of 10, but it would be so much higher if he could have stayed fit. Number 15, Aymeric Laporte. And now with the Blue signing in January 2018, City played Athletic Bilbao £57 million to sign the defender, a new left-footed centre-back that Pep Guardiola had been craving. After a 6-month bedding-in period, Laporte truly became a key City player last season, featuring in 35 of the 38 Premier League games, trusted to start alongside Vincent Kompany when the pressure was on at the end of the season. Laporte is one of the best in the Premier League, and City's title bid this season has been dented by his injury early on in the campaign. Pep will be praying he comes back sooner rather than later, as he's the best defender Man City have got. We're going to give Laporte a 9 out of 10. Number 16, Phillipe Sandler. Thanks to a substitute appearance in the FA Cup last season against Rotherham, we're including young Phillipe Sandler in this list. The Dutch defender moved to the club in July 2018 from PSV's Wall for about €3 million, but so far has just one FA Cup appearance to his name. He's currently on loan at Anderlecht, playing alongside former City captain Vincent Kompany. But is he any good? It's hard to know really, but he's 22 now, and at that age you'd think he'd have a bit more experience. But you never know, so we'll give him a 3.5 out of 10. Number 17, Riyad Mahrez. City's one major signing last summer, Mahrez finally moved to the Etihad after a lot of speculation, costing a whopping £60 million from Leicester City. He started brightly under Guardiola, but minutes eventually dwindled for the Algerian, who didn't quite look at the same level as his City teammates. But to his credit, Mahrez has started this season brightly as well, so this could be his real coming out year at Manchester City. With Leroy Sane out injured, he's certainly got more of a chance to make his mark. But for now, we're going to give Mahrez a 7 out of 10. Number 18, Angelino. And now we're at this summer's signings, starting with a lad who City re-bought from PSV Eindhoven. Spanish left-back Angelino is back with the club after leaving a few years ago, but you do have to wonder how much he's actually going to feature for Pep Guardiola. He's adding depth at left-back, which is always a good thing, but he's competing with Zinchenko and Mendy for a start, which is pretty rough competition. We're going to give Angelino a 4 out of 10. Number 19, Rodri. City's big blockbuster signing this summer, Pep Guardiola finally got the Fernandinho replacement he wanted, and the early signs suggest that Rudi will be able to fully take over when the Brazilian departs. He's got the same level of shithousery, but can also move the ball neatly and effectively, linking the defence to the midfield from deep with composure and possession wherever he is on the pitch. It's still early days, and we'll give Rodri an 8 out of 10. Number 20, Zach Steffen. An American goalkeeper who cost $7 million from Columbus Crew and I know nothing about, Zach Steffen is already out on loan, with the 24-year-old playing for Fortuna Dusseldorf in the Bundesliga. I'll stick my neck on the line and say this lad is never going to play a senior game for Manchester City. Prove me wrong. It's a 2 out of 10 for Stefan. Number 21, João Cancelo. Our final major money signing, João Cancelo was part of the deal that saw Danilo go to Juventus, and the Portuguese defender reportedly cost City about 60 million quid to make him the most expensive right back ever. Is he worth it? Who knows. The lad's barely played. Competing with Kyle Walker, we're yet to see much of Cancelo in a City shirt, who has blistering pace as we saw at Juventus. He might prove to be a hit, but we can't say so for sure yet. We'll give him a 6 out of 10. And finally, number 22, Scott Carson. The finest signing of the Guardiola era. All the big clubs are doing this now, bringing in a veteran goalkeeper who'll never play to be third choice. Scott Carson is Man City's Rob Green, and he's probably loving it to be honest, currently just on loan from Derby County. Sadly, we can't give him a high rating, it just wouldn't be right. A nothing signing that gets a 1 out of 10. So that's every Pep Guardiola signing for Manchester City rated out of 10. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.